All right, day before we head up to the track, I went ahead and filled up the car after work. And while we wait in this heinous Costco line, we're gonna go ahead and reset our MPG and our mileage to confirm how many MPG we're getting. I just like to do it. It's kind of interesting to see, and it'll show you if anything's like kind of wrong with your car, if it's running weird. So I'll show you guys the MPG this thing actually gets and why the Z is such a great car. In terms of packing the car or getting it ready to go, it's already pretty much ready. I've got all the actual physical work done. Just a couple things I like to do before I actually go. Obviously check fluid. I also air up the tires to about 35 PSI cold before driving, just to get maybe a little bit better MPG out of them, maybe a little bit better tire wear. I'm putting about 300 miles just highway driving to the track, and then whatever it takes to get back. So I always like to air them up all around just to make sure it's good to go. This is sort of what I pack for a track day. I'm just going to go over it quickly so that you kind of get an idea of all you really need. Tool wise, I like to just throw my bag out and pretty much reorganize it. There's a lot of stuff in here I'm not going to need for the Z especially. It's just stuff I always carry around. Like, nothing's going to use e-Torx or this 32mm wrench or these American Allens, so I just like to redo everything. Make sure that bag is pretty much only tools that'll work on the Z. Or impact sockets, ratchets, torque wrench, mainly for wheels, but anything else that's small that may need to be torqued. A anti-spill funnel, of course a jack we're going to throw in the passenger floor, impact batteries, stuff like that. Stuff to clean the windshield, huge thing. You don't want to get stuck over there with a dirty windshield. It's going to make it really annoying, especially earlier in the morning. So we have stuff to clean that. I'll do that before I leave as well. Front and rear wheel bearings. This is a 350Z thing. Not really a rear bearing because it's a 370 bearing, but the front bearings are notoriously weak. Jack stands, of course, towel. Tire pump, we're going to be airing down and up at the track. Duct tape just in case. Helmet. I like to bring rotor paint so I know how hot my brakes are getting. That's just a me personal thing. Kind of a data freak. Toe plates I always bring just in case I want to make any alignment changes. Brake clean, brake fluid, power steering fluid. Oil. Going to bring water, of course, as coolant. Towels. Stuff like that, you know, just quick stuff. You're not going to be repairing a whole car at the track, obviously. You can't really pack that much for that. But if you're bringing your own car, just bring a lot of the things you would need to maintain it, just in case anything were to happen. All right, this is essentially it for what I'm going to pack. You can see here we have our jack right in our passenger floorboard. Windshield's cleaned. Go ahead and shut that. Pretty much everything is packed back here. All the tools, extra parts, jack stands, fluids, helmet, funnel, you know, just the normal stuff is all back here. Might add a little more things, but that's pretty much it. So we'll go ahead and close this. And besides packing food, pretty much ready to go. We're going to be heading to this track right here, bright and early at about 2:30 to 2:45 a.m. Here we are. Got my working cup holder, got food, drinks. I use like 3 frozen water bottles as ice, and then the rest of the stuff just add on. Chargers, cameras, jackets. It's gonna be freezing up there, and jack, tripod. But now I'm gonna head out of here and get on the way. All right, I'm estimated to be at the gas station around 3:06. Not 3:06, sorry, 6:06. I will update as time goes on. All right, about 5 miles into the trip, and we're going to do something about this. This thing will not warm up while moving. The oil cooler is too efficient, and pretty much even though it has a thermostatic plate, it still lets just enough through to where it's still sort of flowing through the cooler. It looks stupid, but it should work. We have the whole side with the cooler on it blocked off. Hopefully this stays either at that or above it, preferably way above it. I would like it to be about 180, but we'll see how that goes. And just like that, we are at the gas station. You can see averaged 20 miles a gallon. It is pretty cold over here, 36 degrees. 217 miles on this trip, and I'm still at just over a quarter tank. So this thing did very well on gas. Now we're going to actually up and fill up our 5-gallon before getting to the track. As usual, we have another flawless trip up by the Z. No issues with this thing. This thing is just a great car. The tape did work pretty well. The temps did go up to like 185. They sat there for a little while, eventually dropping back down to around 150-ish, but they never went below 150, so that's exactly what I wanted. Perfect time. Sun's coming up, looks nice. We're gonna get gas. It is very cold. My hands are freezing. Or drives very good. It drives as good as it ever has, even better than it has been. Alignment's like tracking perfectly straight. It feels smooth, rides well. The only thing it is weird is the diff seems a little more locked up than normal. And I just changed the fluid in it, so I'm not sure if maybe new fluid did that or what it is, but it just seems a little bit more aggressive than I remember, but I also haven't driven this car in a while, so maybe I'm a little mistaken. Since the last time I was here, this place took on new ownership. So, from what I remember, gates open up at 6:30, but they may open up at 7 now, and just the whole, they redid a lot. They added walls, they added curbing, they added more track runoff, and they kicked out everyone, I believe, that was here previously. So everything here should be pretty much new to me. It's gonna be really interesting to take a look at everything. All right, so first impression, I'm pleasantly surprised. Normally you come in here, have to pay a $20 gate fee. They just gave me a wristband for free. Apparently they're not charging right now, which is cool. I mean, for some reason it's only really SoCal tracks that charge. Like you go to Laguna Seca, they don't charge. You just sign a waiver to get in. Chuckwalla I think is $10 or $5, and Buttonwillow's 10 I think. This used to be 20. So I mean, that's cool. The only thing that's not cool is the track prices have nearly doubled for next year. So this is probably one of the last times I'm going to be coming here because it just won't make sense to after they change all the prices. Gonna go ahead and unpack it and just kind of prep the car before we get anything going on. Obviously made a bunch of changes, so I am excited to see how it feels, but I'm also a little curious on how the car is gonna feel. I'm on a 100 treadwear NT01 in the front and a 200 treadwear Bridgestone RE71 RS in the rear, but kind of my thought process was these are pretty new. Well, relatively, they're very worn. This is probably the last track day they will work for, but they're like a 2023 build date, and those are a 2019, so I'm thinking those might just be a little less grippy, just due to their age and wear, and maybe it'll kind of balance out right. But if the car doesn't feel too drastically bad, then we should be good. It's not perfect to be testing the new changes because the car's going to feel different because of its grip balance anyways, but mainly just coming out for some seat time and to get a feel for this new layout and just have some fun. Right now we're going to go ahead and mark these rotors with this rotor paint so I can see what temperatures I get up to. It's just a habit I like to take every time I race it, just so I can sort of check on temperatures. Just a little line like that is what I like to do. That way you can see the temperature at this face, and the cooling vane. You will see a difference between the sides actually. Next, I'll usually set all my air pressures. I'll typically put them pretty low before my first session because the tires are still very cold right now. They're going to heat up a lot, so they're going to rise up quite a bit. I'll set them to like 24 cold and then take it easy in my first few laps just to make sure like nothing debeads or anything. But you'll be surprised when you come back in from your first session, the tires will be like back up to 32 after being aired down to 24. So always air down your tires and check on your pressures throughout the day. When I just got checked in, got our bracelet for our run group, and now I'm going to actually finish unpacking, checking the car, and then wait for the driver's meeting. After the driver's meeting, I go out on track at about 8:50, so got a little bit of time to kill until then. Right now it's 7:10. Quick alignment check just revealed I have an 1/8 inch of toe out, and I drove up here just like that. So you can see that's at 73 and 7/8 about. Is at about 73 and 3/4. So I'm gonna go ahead and align this to have 0 toe because I don't like it to have toe out like that, and we'll reevaluate this.
right. So my run group starts pretty much right now. Car's still cold. I'm gonna have to warm it up.
In this first session, my main goal was to really just get a feel for where the walls were and how the track has changed since all the changes they made. The curbing was definitely new to me, and it was interesting trying to push it farther and farther over this curb here to see just where my car would actually like going over it before actually hitting it pretty head on, and figuring out maybe taking it a little easy on the curbing might be a little better. Making my way through some traffic and finally getting up to speed and warmed up with the track, I started actually going a bit faster. Ended up putting down some pretty decent times for my first session out there. perfectly spinning around in most corners. The front end started pushing really hard. I think the tires are getting overheated and the pressure's too high.
temps are great. Car feels really, it's pretty balanced. I don't know, it's different for me. It's really stable under brakes though. That's why I'm trying to get it to sort of rotate on brakes, but it kind of just wants to go straight, but I think it's because the front end is a little low on grip because of the tire pressure.
After session 1, all the tires were at about 32 psi, so I aired them back down thinking I was going to get a good second session, but unfortunately I was very wrong about that. The session was delayed about 15 minutes to begin with, and all I got was 2 laps before a car actually broke down and just parked in the middle of the track.
At this point, there's like not even a reason to stay out here. They got a tow the R34, and then once I'm back out, I'm stuck behind like 15 people. So what am I even doing here? Fuck! I'm actually so pissed about this. This is bizarre.
Luckily, session 3 went much better, and I really got a feel for how the car was after making all the suspension changes in the rear. You can see in the clip after this, there's a lot of turning done without actually closing in on the wheel. Pretty much the wheel will stay about where it was on corner entry, but the car ends up rotating around the corner phenomenally due to the rear end changes I did make. I was almost certain I was going to see a WRX on the wall right there, but now you could really see. It seems in turn 3 you notice it the most, where the car is steering without me actually turning the wheel. Here I try something new by going into second to see if maybe I can get a little bit more speed through the front straight of the track to get a better entry on corner 1. It didn't work out, but it's always good to try between some other laps. sit outside for some exterior shots. I just wanted to see how the car moves on track and have some videos to add into the video as well. After this, I ended up just getting food, packing up, and making my way home. I didn't film too much because I had other friends with me, so I didn't really want to have the camera out talking too much, but I'm sure I still got quite a bit of awesome footage that will come out really good.
Went amazing. I'll talk about a lot of that stuff later, but right now we are actually headed to pick up some rear brake rotors for this thing. Got about an hour and 17 minutes till we reach the marketplace seller, and I will update when we get there. All right, it's super dark and I'm not used to the like whole camera talk thing because I'm not a YouTuber, I'm just a guy with a YouTube channel. So anyways, the guy fucking listed them wrong. He said Brembo 2-piece rotors, that's what I thought I was ordering, was Z1 2-piece Brembo rotors. I get there, they look fucking huge. I'm like, dude, these are Akebono rotors. He's like, yeah, they're the same thing. I'm like, they're not the same thing. I'm a little mad because, I mean, like, it was kind of on the way, so, like, luckily I didn't waste all my time, but I probably did waste like 20-30 minutes driving out of my way to come get here. Then he didn't even know if they were G37 or Q60 because those of you guys that don't know, they use the same brakes, but the e-brake is a different size, so they're not compatible with each other. And the e-brake like drum looked massive, so I wasn't even gonna risk it. And just like that, I am pretty much home. Average 23.6 miles a gallon. It was about 25 and a half until I started driving kind of like an asshole because I'm tired of getting stuck behind people the whole time. We're just under a half tank and I've gone 223 miles. So, as usual, this thing's awesome. It always gets better gas mileage on the way back, I think because of the elevation. But now I will finally be home. Go straight to sleep.
And that is exactly what I did. The day after that, I did a big fat smoky burnout to send off the old Bridgestones. Today, I did also want to show what the brake rotors are looking like, just because I did mark them in the video, so I figured why not update and show the temperatures and how everything's holding up as well. Here you can see we have our R35 GTR brake kit. Even though it does say Z1, a lot of people will try and fact check me, but you can go ahead and read part number written on the caliper and tell me what these are. Go ahead, go for it. You'll find out that they are 2009 to 11 GTR rotors. What I'm trying to get at here is it's a huge brake setup, but they are still being used on this car. The pads are the main reason I did this. These have been on here since last year, December. And they still look pretty new, so that's exactly what I wanted out of the kit. But you could also see they do generate quite a bit of heat in them. There's our rotor paint. You can see it's gone to a beige color. And conveniently, we also have this card here that shows the temperatures they'll get up to. And you can see beige is over 1470 degrees. You can sort of compare it. It might be more yellow. It is interesting to see. So, between 1,000 and 1,500 degrees. I do feel the pads sort of start to fall off when they get really hot. They just won't like stop as aggressively, but it still stops really well. Just something to note. Another thing that's interesting, I said in the video that the faces would be different temperatures because on the old setup, they were different temperatures at times. A lot of times the inside pad would get much hotter than the outside one. But this setup, it seems like it cools better across the whole face of the rotor. The vanes and both faces of the rotor are the same color, which would mean the whole rotor stays the same temperature, which is kind of a good thing. I could only assume that's more because of the floating rotor design. Before, the rotors weren't technically floating, so I think a lot more heat was being transferred into the hat on the front face, but not the rear face, and that's why the rear would get much hotter. But this is cool to see. The car itself felt awesome, and one thing that also felt awesome was the track. I honestly thought the track was going to feel really weird because the walls they added and maybe the curbing was in the wrong spots, but to be honest, running out there, at least in the direction I did, the track felt amazing. The walls weren't even invasive or really scary. It's only a little worrisome in some places, but your goal is to stay on track whether there's walls there or not, or at least that always was my goal, so it doesn't really bother me. And the part that was sketchy, like I said, the chicane where they added the curbing and more runoff, it feels amazing. Honestly really like the wall in the bowl section, which is that long sweeper at the back of the track, because coming out of it, your exhaust is echoing off the walls, and for some reason this car, I would always be doing a 3/4 shift, it would pop almost every time. You can't really hear it on the camera, unfortunately, but it sounded amazing with the helmet on and just driving. It was super cool, and just a different experience I really enjoyed. The curbing is really smooth. You jump up right off of it, you pop right off of it, land down and set up nice. At least this car is set up really well to hit curbing like that. I have it sort of set up that way, so it feels amazing. For times, I was about 0.7 seconds off my actual personal best, but I can't really tell if that's due to the car setup being slower or if the track has changed, and that's why. I know the times are different since the track has changed. It seems the last corner was a little more slippery, and they kind of changed the way you have to hit it now. Before, you can sort of do whatever you wanted because there wasn't a set line there, but now there is, so it's a little different, and I can't really base it off time, but I can base it off speed. And one thing I did notice is this car is 2 miles an hour faster on average down that back straight and a couple other sections than it used to be. The only thing I changed was a front bumper, which could make a difference, but I really don't think it's that. I think it's just carrying so much more speed through the corners, it's able to go faster down the straight. That said, I also didn't really get a clean lap. You could see my personal best lap. I was stuck behind that WRX, which isn't a problem. I mean, everyone's doing their thing. It's just I wasn't able to go faster because I had to slow down in some sections for him. He might have been faster than me. I'm not saying I'm faster than him, but just the way we drive our cars are a little different. He has different braking zones than me. Obviously, I could brake way deeper having such huge brakes, and I could just kind of take advantage of the braking zones, whereas he may not have been able to. But besides that, that's the only kind of issue is I didn't get to go as fast as I wanted, but I still felt the car and I still felt like it was much faster, so I can't wait to actually go out there on a more optimized setup with matching tires and really get a feel for it, especially now feeling the track. Hopefully I get to run there again at a reasonable price, but at this rate, it seems like the track's so expensive to run, it might not even be worth it going back over there. Honestly, really enjoyed making this video, or at least editing it. It was kind of interesting to throw in all the driving clips where you could actually sort of see them in a different way than what I normally do, where it's just posting a PB lap. I kind of liked seeing all the laps and different parts of the track where it was either fun or the car was getting loose or it just felt good. And I don't know, I think I'll start making more of these videos. I think it's an interesting way to sort of showcase what the track days are like, because the track days are such a big part of this whole scene to me, and it's kind of a huge thing to leave out if you're not capturing it on video. So definitely more to come next month with the 6 if I can actually get it all set up right. All I need to do is hook up a front end intercooler and kind of get some of the wiring good and make sure it's like settled, because I have high expectations for the car, so I want to make sure it'll meet those expectations and not have any problems. So it's going to take a little bit of work to get it where I want, but that is the goal. December 14th, I will be taking the Speed 6 to the track and making another one of these videos in that car, so stay tuned.